So just finished the lecture notes, last of it, or last of this last week's, so this week's to do. But I'll just finish this up later in the week. Head to the gym, hit a quick lift. I just did a 2-a-day today, just because Sam wanted to go to cardio earlier. I figured I didn't want to, I needed to move around a bit. So, did cardio, now I'm about to go hit a shoulders and arm workout. I'm going to try to take you guys through it. Yeah, got on way to the gym. Let's go. Run it! We out here. So this is the charter so she's not, no, you're fine. No one cares. So this is it. These are my coworkers. This is Bianca. She's not, there you go. Yay! And this is Lily. So they're chill as fuck. Go follow them at Instagram at BMars, BEE_S, and then at
Mamacita, MVMA.CITA.
So give them a follow. Alright, let's go fucking do this workout.
Yo, what's up guys? Coach V here. I wanted to go ahead and actually start this workout vlog with a little bit of a half and half. So I'm going to have half of it be, the normal video audio, and then I'm going to also do some commentary over some of the exercises themselves to give some explanations. So actually I start off every major pushing day with some rotator cuff warm-up exercises. So this is just an external rotation with the cable. I'm using 5 pounds here. You probably don't have to actually even go this heavy. So your rotator cuff is made up of 4 muscles. It's the sits muscles, the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. Of those 4, probably the super and infra are the ones that are most activated, just because those are involved with actually externally rotating the shoulder and pulling the scap against the rib cage. When I say scap, I mean scapula. So for those of you who don't know this, I actually do have some scapular winging, and I actually went to PT for it. I had some sort of shoulder instability problems due to a number of blows that I took from football that damaged my long thoracic nerve. However, I still just work with it, compensate around it, and just the knowledge I know from going to school and being a rehabilitation science major really does kind of help, because I just apply that to my training, and I also apply it with my clients. So I usually do 2 variations. I do an external rotation and then another external rotation, but a vertical variation. So I'm drawing my elbow up instead of just laterally out. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this vlog, but something actually very interesting happens here, so I want you guys to go ahead and hear it.
Alright, so what's your name? Cornell. Cornell? So this is Cornell, guys. Yeah. So you're just talking about how he has people come over here because we practice good form over here. So tell me what you have to say.
Yeah, and I go to my other gym, and the guys the same age over here, and I tell them, I said, these guys, you can tell that they study the craft, and they get it, and you see a lot of guys the same age, they lift weights, 40, 50 pounds, they do laterals and stuff like that, and they think they running over Tiger and stuff like that. And I tell them, these guys got years and years of lifting, and they're stronger. True. You know what I'm saying? And I tell them about you guys all the time, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Hey, and over here, even when you tell the young guys over here, when they doing things wrong, they actually listen and they get it. They get it. And everybody over here, they out here learning and stuff like that. Everybody's a student over here. I'm a student of it. And I've been listening since '87. I'm 52 years old, and I'm still learning.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Just being a practitioner in your craft, whatever it is. I like it. I like it.
We are. It's just like being an artist. These are the tools. Our body is the canvas.
It is.
We all artists. You know what I'm saying? And we are making masterpieces.
Exactly.
And the public is out there telling us, what we look like.
Definitely.
And that's how you know.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, kill it.
Anytime, man. Yeah. Alright.
That's why I love this, dude. That's why I love it. Alright, let's go kill this lip.
So I love when I get like people who want to come up and say something or ask what I'm doing. Just like it kind of reinforces the why I even started this channel and the why I started VCast Coach and VCast Consulting. It's honestly just in the end just to help people, and that's something that carried over just from school, my mentality of being a physician. But I digress. Getting back into the workout, we're going into overhead dumbbell shoulder press, or seated shoulder press, sorry. If you notice, my elbows are always slightly rotated anteriorly. I'm not always ever at a full lateral position. The reason I do that and the reason I advise everyone to do it is because if you don't, you could have some shoulder impingement that develops from that. So you have something called an acromion process and a coracoid process that make up the anterior part of your scapula that kind of cross over and make up your shoulder socket where the head of your humerus, your arm, sits. So it's like kind of think of it like a golf tee and a golf ball. If you're trying to raise the golf tee at a certain angle, you're going to be constantly clipping the ligaments and tendons that attach at that anterior portion onto those processes with the actual bony pieces themselves. So for me, I'm just going to give you a personal side note. For my left shoulder, that happened to me. I got bicipital tendonitis, so basically my biceps tendon. Your biceps tendon does attach onto the anterior portion of your shoulder, almost by your front delt. So a lot of times people would think, oh, my shoulder's hurting. It really isn't. It's just you have some inflammation of the tendon itself from doing too many lateral heavy presses, so you've been clipping it for so long that it gets inflamed. And you'll notice even now, like as the clip progresses, I start to struggling, and when I start to struggle, my left side gives out first, like right there. I can't actually lock up, and that's due to the scap. So this next exercise going in is actually going to be a rack row. For those who don't know what a rack row is, or this is, I guess, above the knee rack row, but for those who don't know what a rack row is, it's pretty much basically think of the top portion of a deadlift. So you're pretty much just locking out your lumbar spine, your lower back. It's actually, even though it is seems like a pretty heavy movement, and you can go very, very heavy with this, this actually isn't a lower back movement at all. So I do recommend this for people who have lower back issues and can't actually deadlift, or let's say one day you come in and you can and you're just feeling tight, you don't want to risk injury or on a time crunch. Rack row is a very good exercise to go ahead and get that upper back, especially upper trap development. For a lot of people who don't know, you do have 3 directional fibers in your trap or your trapezius. One runs up, you have your middle fibers, and then your lower fibers. The upper fibers are what you actually see that come up in a shirt or a tank top. And those are usually what people want to work on the most. Those are for elevating and elevating the shoulder and elevating the scapula. So you can go actually really, really heavy on these. I started with just a warm-up set of 135, and then I progressed to 315, and I believe I go up here until, I want to say 405, maybe a little more, but we'll see. But yeah, rack rows, do them. Remember to always, if you're going up, remember to you're retracting your scapula at the top of the motion and really feeling that contraction in your upper back. These get pretty difficult after a while, and if you don't have the grip strength, definitely use wrist wraps, but you can tear your hands up pretty badly if you don't have chalk. I didn't have chalk with me today, so I ended up actually tearing my hands up pretty bad, as you'll see. But yeah, definitely do use this exercise. It's great for good upper back development.
Tore the fuck out of my hands. So let's, I guess, finish his arm workout. Some fucked up shit. Whatever, tough it out.
So, yeah. Tearing your hand, I don't know if anyone's torn their hands with calluses, but if anyone ever meets me in person, you'll notice that my hands are extremely calloused, and like they're thick, so you can cut them and nothing will happen, but it hurts to tear them. So basically what I moved on to next was a seated alternating dumbbell curl. So I am keeping my wrist supinated, so when I come up I am pulling my pinky up and out, or I'm trying to anyways. You also notice that when I bring the dumbbell up, I'm actually coming up on an angle. When you come up on an angle, it just works more of your long head, which is the lateral portion of your bicep, which gives the bicep peak from the outside looking in. So from the posterior side, if you're looking at your arm from behind, it's that very big bicep peak. Coming after that, you do have some dumbbell alternating curls, or hammer curls, sorry, and those are to work on the short head. Very, very effective and good movements overall for bicep development. Biceps, I would say, is, even though I'm a guy and like most guys actually focus on their arms quite a lot, I actually don't do that many arm days or the latter, just because I'm more focused on being a performance-based athlete, and that's just something that comes from sports in general. But I care more about my performance, my numbers, my cardiovascular health than I do actually my vanity. I did start incorporating some hypertrophy work, and I have seen great results. That program for the bodybuilding program is going to be going up on my website in the coming weeks. So starting the second arm movement with a single arm cable extension. So a single arm cable extension primarily works the long and medial head of your tricep. You want to really focus on the long and medial head over the lateral head. As the name implies, the tricep does have three heads. It's the lateral, long, and medial head, with the medial being deep to the long head on the posterior side of your arm. Your tricep actually makes up 75% of like your total arm mass, so it's pretty important to have good tricep development if you want an overall bigger arm appearance, because the tricep does make the larger portion of your arm. For me, my tricep is the stronger, aesthetically at least, part of my arm. I'm lacking more in my biceps. However, this attachment here, this single pull, it actually is better for oblique movements if you're doing like wood choppers than it is for this. I probably just wanted to change the variation than from using the cable. A little awkward to use, but at the end of the day, it's still a single arm tricep extension. The second movement, which you're about to see for the triceps that I did, was this EZ bar tricep cable extension. So with the EZ bar tricep cable extension, you're actually going to be using the EZ bar attachment, and you can actually position your hands a few ways. So on this first little clip you see, my hands are positioned on the outermost grip surface of the actual EZ bar attachment, and this is primarily we're going to work your lateral and a little bit of your medial head as well. So it's important to note that I'm grabbing this with the overhand, no thumbs grip, primarily just to take my forearms out of the equation, even though I really don't need the isolation. I just like it helps me feel a better contraction. So you guys can go ahead and use this too. Then I do a underhand, still grabbing at the same distance on the actual attachment itself on the outside edge. I do an underhand reverse easy grip curl. So when you grab the undergrip, underhanded I mean, you are going to get a lot more long and medial head activation than lateral. So this is again trying to get more of that long and medial head development for the better aesthetic arm look. So this last arm movement of the accessories is actually just a seated bicep hammer strength machine. So this is honestly one of my most favorite machines to hit biceps with. You're really able to just focus and isolate the bicep completely if you seat the actual position on the machine correctly. So the way that I actually usually seat it is I usually have the pad digging into my armpits, so my shoulders are protracted and rounded forward, and then I'm completely focusing on just feeling the contraction in my bicep. I grab overhand just to again eliminate forearm involvement and really focus on squeezing at the top of the movement. Really love this machine. If you guys have it, definitely include it in your arm days. This next movement here is actually going to be it's a face pull, but it's a kind of a variant of a face pull. So when I do face pulls, I'm actually I don't like doing them straight out vertically, standing up. So I usually, because I feel like just the momentum of the rope pulling back on the pulley, I get a lot more swinging in my body to pull the weight. So I actually do them seated on the floor. So here you can actually, again, see that you're focusing on retracting and squeezing your scapula back. And if you notice that my left arm actually comes down slightly in a different angle, that is again due to the scapular problem that I referred to earlier in the vlog. I'm still working with it, trying to work around it to get the proper development, but working with an imbalance is difficult. However, if anyone does have any advice, DM me on any social media or send me an email at vcast@vcastcoach. We could probably try to work something out with you to give you some guidance to what you can do. But yeah, this is just a face pull, working a lot of the posterior deltoid, which is really important for overall shoulder health, as well as hitting your rhomboids and mid and lower trap fibers as well. It's important to make sure when you're coming up, you're not letting yourself swing up too much, because even though I try to sit to eliminate the sway, you still can get a limited amount at the top of the movement. So I never let the actual weight come down to a rest like you just saw. I stopped just below it, or just above full rest of the weight, just to keep increased time under tension that my muscles under, and also really focus on just the contraction posteriorly of my rear delt. So the last and final movement that I did today actually was a cable rear delt fly. So this is just a variant. I honestly switch probably back and forth between doing a double cable rear delt fly like this one, and also between this and the reverse pec deck machine. But this is a really good movement for isolating. Notice you don't actually have to do that much weight for it. I'm only using about 10 pounds, and I'm really just going for hypertrophy, so going for reps here. This is just a burnout accessory movement that, again, really trying to emphasize and focus on the posterior deltoid of the shoulder, and squeezing your scap together as you progress through. But yeah, really good movement. Anyways, this is going to be it for the commentary, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this workout vlog. Definitely come back for more. I'm posting once a week for right now, but I'm going to be upping it as I just get more situated with and in the rhythm of this whole YouTube game. But thank you guys for watching. This has been Coach V. Peace.
Damn.